So the Hedaya is 2,000, nearly 2,700 pages. It is
Wow.
very detailed. And when it's 4 volumes, and when imams go to seminary for 4, 5, 7 years, whatever they do, to qualify as a judge or a sheikh to give fatwas or a qadi to work in a court, the Hedaya is often the final manual they study due to its complexity and detail.
Wow. Okay.
Now, this is a chapter, okay, of the Hedaya. Now, this was translated in 1791. And notice of thefts which occasion amputation. And then on the manner of cutting off the limb of a thief. Now,
Bloody hell.
you've got a number of pages
Yeah.
describing exactly how this happens. Then, of course, because Islam's a religion of peace, you can see here on the manner of waging war.
Waging war for the
And
religion.
then
This is Muhammad's forte. Please read it, Lloyd.
and of plunder and the division thereof. Now, I believe that pirates would make plunder and then divide the plunder. That's what pirates did. But apparently, this is a holy act. It's a religious
Apparently,
thing.
it's a holy act, exactly. And apparently, an even holier act is that Muhammad gets about 70 or more percent of the divisions, by the way, of the war.
20% or whatever of everything. Yeah,
Yeah, a
whatever.
lot of it
So,
goes to him. I mean, I don't know the exact figure, but he gets the spoils before it gets divided amongst his
yeah.
companions.
And you can see here, okay. So
Yeah.
if you steal property to the value of 10 dirhams, the law awards amputation of his hand. Okay, because Allah said in the Quran, if a man or woman steal, cut off their hands. And there's several pages which talk about how to cut off their hand. So understand, this is Islam. And if we don't want this to become the law of the land, we must oppose Islamic law.
Yes, exactly. That's why, I mean, I always say Sharia is part of the extremist threat. It's not a solution. I mean, in the UK, what I'm seeing now more and more is that we've got this kind of parallel system developing where we've got obviously like, British like civil law in place, but we've got an entire system where pockets and masses of people in certain cities are going to Sharia tribunals and relying on Islamic law and literally governing their lives by that. So even a woman, for example, who's been granted a civil divorce by the UK courts does not consider herself divorced because the Sharia council here is refusing to give her that very same divorce, even though in the law of the land where she is, she's divorced.
Yeah.
But that's the hold that this, and also it's just so funny because you can go to civil courts and get yourself completely freed, but it's the Sharia court that is the one that's keeping you chained. And even the whole concept of divorce in Islam being a unilateral thing for men gives them the element of that control. There's so many. It obviously gets darker and deeper as you go into it because they gave women an out by applying for something called a khulla through courts. But in order to apply for that, you have to forego your meher, which is the payment that your husband gives you
Ah,
on
yes.
marriage. And a lot of these situations that I'm seeing in the UK is when the husband hasn't even paid the entire meher to his wife. And when she eventually goes to ask for a divorce, having got and secured a civil one, she goes to the Sharia council to get the Islamic one. But they say because you haven't been paid your meher, you can therefore not be divorced Islamically because you don't fulfill the condition, which is ridiculous. But that's also giving men that element of control because they have that right unilaterally and then they don't fulfill the condition that they're required to. You can essentially hold a woman in limbo for an indefinite period of time.
And this is in Western countries.
Exactly, Lloyd. This
This
is happening
violates the law.
exactly, and it's just happening everywhere.